Hello and welcome to the Extreme Z Podcast, the only Dokkan podcast making your favorite talk show format relevant again. I'm your host, Epic Mewtwo.
And I'm your co-host, Kayvon.
And today, you really do sound tired. We are back for episode 32 at 3 a.m. We might as well call this episode Recording a Dokkan Podcast at 3 a.m. But welcome back. We are here for another episode of the Extreme Z Podcast. We're in the middle of the 5th year anniversary, boys, and it is 100% a great time. We are going to be talking about today for the main topic of the video, the current state of anniversary units and kind of just the power creep over the years of anniversary units and kind of how they compared to the current state of the game at the time. But before we get into that, we of course have our news to get into. Global has basically nothing, but JP has quite a bit. So let's get into that. We had the server maintenance, which then allowed us to get the brand new update, version 4.8.1 for JP, which introduced the skill functionality as well as stickers for units. The skill ball function, and they do call it skill balls, which is really weird, is still kind of a very odd system. Because not only once you use the equipment or the skill balls, right? Because the game seems to kind of call them both. It's permanent on a unit, which I think is kind of interesting. Can you even I know you can't remove it. Can you change it for another one, or is it just
yes,
that's it?
You can.
Okay. But either way, once it's...
Yeah, they'll lose the one that gets replaced.
Gotcha. So it just gets Hakkaid. So kind of interesting there. As well, the only way that you can currently get the skill balls is the Whis training event, which we will go over a little bit later. But the Whis training event, you get 4 per day if you hit all the spots on the map. And it does end after the anniversary. So I don't know if there's going to be another way to get equipment after the anniversary is over, or if they're going to make the Whis event a permanent thing, and they just kind of haven't said that yet. Only time will tell.
Like BPAN, if anything.
Yeah. Oh, you think they'll implement it into BPAN?
I think they'll what?
Implement it into BPAN, or do you mean
No, I mean it'll be like BPAN where it left for a bit and they got re-implemented a while after.
Gotcha. Okay. But yeah, so that's kind of interesting. And then the stickers as well. Once you apply a sticker to a unit, it can't be removed, which is also pretty interesting. I don't know why they did that, because there really doesn't seem to be a reason for that, unless their coding just didn't allow for that. But the stickers are kind of odd because, initially we thought it'd be actual stickers you could apply to units. But it's more so just an extra effect on a unit. It's kind of weird. Anyway, though, there was a quick error on JP. There was just some bug fixes, and they gave 1 stone to everybody, so that's cool. But yeah, moving on, we began the 5th anniversary SNS campaign, which is, if you're not aware, every day you get 1 free stone by either tweeting it out or sharing it on the Line app. So that's always nice when we get one of those. And that was one for the countdown. And then we had the countdown one. And then also compensation due to maintenance. So this was kind of interesting. Essentially, some people didn't get to log in and get their daily login, and they lost their login streak because of the mission. Or not because of the mission, sorry. Because of the maintenance, rather. And Dokkan actually did acknowledge and see this issue. And they gave out a little bit of compensation for it. And anyone who was affected by it, they fixed their login streak, which is really, really cool. Because theoretically that didn't have to happen. But very awesome that they did. Moving on, though, we did have, this was crazy. JP had a comeback campaign, if you guys remember, with the 4th year anniversary. There was a campaign with some rewards, rather. However many players we could get to come back to the game, we would get any certain amount of rewards, for every step of the campaign. So, step 1, in this case, we got like 1 stone and then 5, I believe it was turtle shells and 10 Z swords of every type. And then so on and so forth. The rewards went up and up and up. And this was crazy. Like, before the anniversary even started, like as soon as this campaign started, it was basically like hours later, we got to step 5. And then like a day or two later, we got the EX step, which was the final step. So we absolutely crushed this even before the anniversary started. Anyway, we got the notice of the Infinite Dragon Ball History getting a new stage, as well as Boss Rush getting a new stage too. And of course, the Countdown login bonus, which was 1 stone every day, along with 5 tickets. And those tickets are what you use on the 55 ticket summon to be able to get a free LR. As well, we also had the announcement of the 3 Saiyan story event, as well as the Ningen Zero Keikaku event too. And then as well, we had the EZA for Zamasu, which is really, really cool. Glad that he finally got that. And then, of course, we had the announcement of the login for the beginning of 5th year. And you got the brand new Anniversary Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Every year they give out a little anniversary unit. And this year it was the Super Saiyan Blue Goku holding up the 5 with the 5-star Dragon Ball. It's going to be interesting to see what they do next year for the 6-year anniversary. If they have Goku plan on holding up 6 fingers and then like he's holding the Dragon Ball with the rest, that'd be kind of awkward. Or like if he's holding his mouth,
the Dragon Ball's just in his mouth.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or like on his tail if it's Kid Goku, or I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Nonetheless, though, the app did get the update. And then we also had a little bit of a update for the Gogeta story event. What was the exact update for that?
Some assets were changed.
Gotcha. And then, of course, the event got renewed. We also did get a official announcement for the special battlefield for JP, which is for the anniversary. That has not gone live yet either. But that will be fighting characters essentially from Dragon Ball Super Broly and the Black Arc. So that's cool. As well, we also have the 5th year anniversary coins. Every year for anniversaries, we get these coins and whatnot, where you can buy like orbs and exclusive units and items and stuff like that. So it's always cool when they do that. As well, we also had the introduction of the purple stone for this celebration and the red stone. Unfortunately, there was no new units added for this red stone, but that's okay. There's quite a bit of selection already. And the purple stone, they actually did something super interesting this time. So the purple stone obviously had all of the 120 leads available to purchase, as well as the units who were added, Vegito and AGL Black. But now they not only added category leads, they also added LRs. So you can buy a total of 3 purple. Something just crashed outside. You can buy. I don't know if the mic caught that up. That was crazy, yo. Like outdoor memes happening live on the podcast. Anyway, for 3 of the purple stones you can purchase, you can get a LR, one of the 90% LRs, as well as 2 other units with each of them. Broly, you get AGL EZA Broly and STR Goten. Goku Black, you get the Tech and Fizz Vegeta and Trunks Father-Son Gallic Gun units, respectively. With Majin Vegeta, you get the AGL Super Saiyan 2 EZA Goku and the STR Fat Buu. With Fizz Trunks, you get the Future Androids, and with LR Gohan, you get Int Cell and the Android 16, the new one that came out with Gohan for 300 mil. And then all the category leads as well come with a unit. Ultimate Gohan comes with STR EZA Gohan. Jiren comes with Kefla. The Tech Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta comes with Fizz tanks. Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku comes with the STR Kid GT Goku. The Blue Evo Vegeta, almost said Vegeto, comes with the Super Saiyan Cooler Vegeta. Turles comes with Metal Cooler. Super Vegeto comes with STR Majin Vegeta. Fizz Sin Shinron that goes to Omega. Comes with Nova. UI Goku comes with Beerus, and AGL, or rather, Int Golden Frieza comes with AGL Golden Frieza. So all the LRs cost 3 Purple Stones, and the category lead ones cost 2. So it is kind of an interesting new mechanic. I mean, I guess you would call it a mechanic that they're introducing with the Purple Stones here, because you can obviously spend all 3, get an LR and some extra units along with it. You could spend 2 and then get a category lead that you want, as well as another unit, and then you can get one of the 120s or the 70% leads as well, or you could spend it all on the 120/70% leads. So I think it's a really cool way to implement it. I don't know if they're necessarily going to be doing this in the future, maybe for anniversaries going forward, but I can't imagine that they're going to be doing this for Purple Stones every single time, because this does feel like a really special thing. Yeah, especially with the LRs. I could probably see maybe like 2 years down the line that the 100% LR leads could possibly be put in here, because at that point they'll just be that old that they could probably, be purchased for free, and it really wouldn't be that big of a deal. But some of those guys are still super powerful. But either way, though, this is really cool. Obviously, if you're going to get this, it is like $150, but every Purple Stone comes with 100 stones. So if you're going to be buying stones for the Annie anyway, I would probably recommend doing it. I will say, though, I mean, if you're only buying it for the units, which seems kind of weird because obviously you're getting it for the stones, I don't know if it's necessarily worth it, but I suppose you could spend that much and not get one anyway. Probably the most worth pack, though, I don't know, that's kind of difficult. I would have to say probably Broly or Gohan. If we're kind of disregarding the LRs, I don't know, what would you say? Because Broly comes with AGL, like Fury Broly and Easy A Family Kamehameha Goten, and both of those units are really, really good. Gohan as well as Int Cell and 16, the new one, and both of those guys are really, really good. Obviously Cell's kind of irrelevant with the LR, but
all the different names, remember?
Oh yeah. But yeah, with 16, and then obviously that Int Cell has an Easy A too. Probably one of those two. Because the future androids are bleh.
ATM, remember?
Yeah, but they're still kind of just aren't they?
And 140% attack up.
I still think the other ones are better though in comparison anyway.
Wait, which other ones?
The Broly and the Gohan pack. Although they're all right though, I suppose. I don't know. For this, I don't think there's really a recommendation I can give, because obviously all these LRs are good for different things. If you don't have Broly, though, on JP, I guess if you really want them for World Tournament, it's a really easy way to be able to pick them up. Or if you just don't have one of these, or you need a dupe for them. But I don't know. If you're just purely looking at the other units and it doesn't really matter what LR you get, I would probably recommend with those two personally. Though all the rest of them are really good. But the category leads are a whole nother thing. But anyway, moving on from the Purple Stone. Just figured I'd talk a little bit more in depth about it because I haven't yet. And I do think it's definitely an interesting mechanic that hopefully they do again, because I think that would be really cool. So we did get the Zamasu event, which is 3 stages. You can farm the brand new Zamasu from this. As well as his medals. This goes through like a little bit of Zamasu and Gowasu, and then Zamasu killing Gowasu. And this is also the Zamasu that gets that gets Goku Black's body. And we did learn from the live stream, which we will talk about a little bit later, but it is in the events info now that this particular Zamasu will Dokkan awaken into an LR and will be Zamasu in Goku's body in the Zamasu clothing. Technically not Goku Black yet because the mindset hasn't really changed, but it is Zamasu in Goku's body in Zamasu's clothes, which is really, really cool. But yeah, so that will probably be in the part 2 of the anniversary. We will get there eventually. As well, we do have the 3 Saiyans Driven by Fate event, which you can get the brand new Vegeta and Broly, as well as their orbs in the 3 stages that they are here. And they have their own orbs, which is kind of unfortunate, but at the same time, free orbs. But farming that up twice kind of stinks. But anyhow, we did also get confirmed from the live stream that these guys would be getting Easy A's. Unfortunately, though, they'll be getting Easy A's from the Extreme Z area that is going to be made just for them. So rest in peace that it's an Extreme Z area, but at least they're getting Easy A's, I suppose. Anyway, we had a bunch of events come back. The Dragon Ball Super Trunks event, Infinite Dragon Ball History updated, now with the Dragon Ball Super Broly stage that is quite difficult. Special stickers are available. All of the Easy A free-to-play units got like special stickers. It does seem weird though. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kayvon, but there's no like difference in the icon between a special sticker and a regular sticker.
What do you mean?
Like they both just kind of get lumped in the same. Like I don't think there's really like it says like special stickers, but I think they just mean that like the units have special effects. Like, because when you get a sticker, there's not a difference between the sticker for the Easy A units and regular units.
I think the only difference is that you can't apply regular stickers to the Easy A units since they have their own unique ones.
Yeah, but like, okay, so then there is a difference. Okay, so that answered my question then. Yeah, so it is going to be interesting to learn more about these as well. There are, right now, the ways that we know how to get them. You can obtain them from missions, certain events in Dragon Ball Super Broly. Obviously that's where you get the characters. Battlefield will be giving these out, and again the missions. So I don't think these are available yet, right? Or am I wrong on that?
What is
the Easy A stickers?
Right now it's only for the Broly movie units.
Right. So is that the only way that you get them? Battlefield and missions?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right, anyhow, moving on from that, Frieza, so this was pretty cool. Frieza's training event, or Frieza's training camp, rather, is a new event. This is basically just a reskin of the tile breaking event from the 300 million downloads event, but still pretty cool. Right now, we do have all 5 of these stages unlocked as this whole week went on, and you can get some pretty good rewards from these. Again, it's like essentially a punching event type of thing, so you have to hit as much damage as you can with a nuker. It is movie heroes, movie bosses, time travelers, Potara, and fusion. So yeah, pretty cool on that. Boss Rush also got an update, a brand new stage with the LR Super Saiyan 4s, as well as Kid Goku, Hit, and Trunks for 35 stones. I do hope that they eventually kind of revamp Boss Rush, because as nice as, getting that 35 stones is, once you do it, you kind of don't really have a reason to do it anymore. Because there's so many other events in the game where you would showcase a unit rather than Boss Rush now. And, like, there's no real point in doing it unless you just want to, like, flex. And, just get a boss rush time without an item. I definitely think that teams these days could 100% handle, 10. Like, there was some boss rushes before. There was one boss rush where we had 14 characters in one, which is kind of nuts, but one of them had 10 in one run. And I definitely think that that's doable by a lot of modern day teams. I know on my stream, actually today, I guess technically yesterday, we played through the new boss rush on stream, and it was like super easy. I didn't even use an item, and I used Cooler's team. So I definitely think the modern day teams could handle that. So I do hope that they inevitably, or not inevitably, eventually update that. Anyway, we did get notice for the brand new events for Gogeta and Vegito. Of course, kind of giving us a little bit of a teaser. And then we finally got the master post for the 5th year anniversary. So, what's interesting too is that they're doing a new thing for this anniversary. I kind of think that this is something that they're probably going to keep doing going forward. There's little badges on both of the new events, and one is Gogeta and one is Vegito, basically signifying that the events with Gogeta on it take place in the news. They call it in the world of, but it's more like in the timeline of Dragon Ball Super Broly, and then the ones with Vegito on it in the future Trunks saga. So kind of interesting that they're like making it a point to signify that these two happen in like the different timelines. I don't know if they're thinking people would get confused, or if there's a particular reason why they're like, you know, really trying to drive home that, hey, these happen in these different, like, not continuities obviously, but timelines. I don't know, kind of interesting. Either way though, moving on, we did have a brand new special movie, which is the intro movie for Dokkan when you open it up for the first time during the anniversary. A little video of Vegito and Gogeta plays, which is really, really cool. And as well, after the live stream, they did give a little bit of a special video for Vegito and Gogeta, like a little promo video, which is really cool. Moving on, login bonus missions, as you expect. There was a brand new set of campaign, or was a brand new set of missions that went live actually 2 days ago, which was the blue, like, liquid or whatever it's called. Basically, what it's supposed to be is like what Bulma needed to fuel the time machine for Trunks when Trunks came back in time and then the time machine was out of gas, essentially. And, you know, she didn't know what could fuel it. Basically, the fuel for the time machine. Those events are alive now. They're only here for a couple of days, which is interesting. So definitely do that now. Do you know why those are only here for a couple of days?
Wait, what are?
The Bulma, like, blue splooge missions.
It's like a campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not actual missions you need to complete. It's just like thresholds.
It's just, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think it was going to be actual missions. Yeah. So it's like a collaborative thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Of course, we had the LR Vegito and Gogeta banner go live. The banners are absolutely crazy. They have both of the 3rd year LRs on them, as well as the 300 million download LRs, as well as tons of great Dokkan Fest units, so those are definitely fantastic banners. We also do have the Gogeta and Vegito Dokkan Fests as well. They also kind of pulled a little bit of a memerino on us with this one. So we have the 55 summon ticket banner, right? Or over the course of the anniversary, we are going to be getting 55 tickets in total to be able to do a multi that is 55 characters in the one multi, which is so crazy. And at the end, an LR is guaranteed. And every LR up until and including Godku is present in this summon. So it's really, really cool that they're giving it to us for free. Obviously, they didn't necessarily have to do that, but Dokkan is really good at giving out free stuff. Highly underrated, IMO. Dokkan Goat Gotcha. But they also added a paid version of this where it is 200 stones for the same thing, and you get an LR guaranteed. Now, this has been a little bit of a controversial thing with the anniversary. I mean, you get a free one, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's definitely not a bad deal. I mean, of course, you can only get the one LR and then theoretically like 54 Rs. but you can also get an LR like in every multi essentially of what would be a normal multi, plus the guaranteed one or more or less. But it's just kind of all luck of the draw. It is also comparatively like worse than the step up banner, because the step up banner obviously had Dokkan Fest units on it and also guaranteed Dokkan Fest units at different steps. But to be fair, those step up banners, a I mean I guess it wasn't all one summon. It was kind of fragmented, and then you get the different ones of the different steps, which kind of better because then if you don't go all the way, you can still do some of them. But it also didn't have up until Godku, which is really really cool. So either way though, I do think it's still worth the 200 stones to do it. I would still summon on Gogeta and Vegito before you do that banner. 100%, because obviously those are the two big kahunas of the anniversary, and those are the units that you're going to be wanting to go for. And of course, the banners in general are amazing. But still, I mean, it's a good option if you really want to do it. Free to play players, I'd probably say no, but it's definitely not bad. We also have the 5th year anniversary banner where we're getting 5th year anniversary tickets, just from different missions and login and stuff like that. And then, of course, we have the 5th year coin shop, which we talked about before, the red stone and the purple stone. The dragon stone sales, which are actually really, really good this time. The story events we talked about earlier. And then, of course, we have Frieza's tryouts or training or whatever. And then the Whis training event, which is where you get the skill orbs every single day. And it's a super small map. Again, it's not going to be available after the 5th year anniversary. It'll probably be brought back, though, or like Kayvon said, revamped. But right now it is important to do that daily. Of course, all the other events we mentioned are here. EZAs are here permanently, every single one. The Kai banner reset. On the weekends, all of the orb stages are here, as well as the special character guaranteed. On the 3rd, there's going to be the battlefield. That's when it's going to activate. So that I think that might actually be when this video goes up in Japan time. It'll at least be that same day. So definitely check that out. All Dokkan events are live. All SBR is live. And then, of course, we have the SNS campaign. 5-minute stamina reset to 3. Kami Bless. Always awesome when they do that. Baba Shop sale. And then 4 times XP. So lots of super, super awesome stuff happening for the anniversary. All of this stuff, besides Battlefield at the time of this recording, is currently live. So moving on from that, we did have a error with the fusion category that looked like it was being displayed multiple times, and an error with how it was being displayed, and they fixed that. Battlefield obviously getting an update and being shut down for a little while. There were also 2 character names. Let's see, description of part of the field for the names of 2 characters should be known as already complete the modification. It looked like 2 of the characters on the in the 77 times to clear. It looked like basically character names were listed wrong, and they fixed that. By the way, something interesting to note that was like kind of a little bit of speculation if something was going to happen or not, but nothing ended up happening. On the 55 summon banner, LR Goku's SSR art is on the front of the banner. And people were like, I wonder if this is going to be sort of like a Super Saiyan 3 Broly situation, rather. If you guys remember with Super Saiyan 3 Broly, basically the Awakened art was displayed on the banner. And that's a huge no-no when it comes to Japanese gacha laws, because technically you can't pull that unit that is the direct picture there, right? You can only pull the SSR form. So then everybody got their stones back for that particular banner. That was the STR Rose banner. Now, people were kind of like, is something similar going to happen here? Because Gagku isn't technically featured, though he is sort of like featured because you do get a guaranteed LR, but nothing really happened because of that. Didn't someone else on the Reddit make a good point about that? What was the...
Yeah, that banner did the same thing.
Yeah. So definitely nothing to worry about there, but just something interesting to point out nonetheless. Of course, Gogeta and Vegito's events went live along with the Dual Dokkan Festival. And then we also had the continuation of the SNS campaign, which is now technically the fifth year one instead of, the countdown one. And as well, JP has hit top grossing for both the first time and the second time. Basically, as most of you know with top grossing, right? You get it in one store, you get 30 stones and then some orbs and stuff like that. And then you hit it in both stores and you get 100 stones and some other orbs like that. Which is very, very cool. And we have hit both of those because of Vegeta and Gogeta. I don't think there was a doubt in anyone's mind that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's the 5th year anniversary for Pete's sake. But super cool that it happened either way. And then, of course, like Kayvon said, the Blue Goo event has been completed by this point.
Yeah.
In DBZ Space, it only says up to like 500, I think. But by now it's been completely completed, so that's cool. But yeah, that is it for the JP news. Obviously there's a ton of stuff with the 5th year anniversary. Global it's pretty dead right now. Kayvon, tell us what we got.
Alright, so we have basically just a few story events went live. The Unknown Battle of Gods in Majin, the Spread Love Magical Girl Fighters, and along with it came the Double Rates banner for launch in Oceanus, which brought the awakening for Android Brienne. Then there's the Saiyan Warrior Race Invades, the Dragon Ball Fighter story event. And we got the new stage announcement for the Interfuture Gohan. What else?
I think that was it, right?
Story event renewal for the Hope Fight Against Despair. And they added... they fixed the drop rates for the Tech 13 in Quest. And also added him to the Baba Shop for 100 gems each.
And that was it.
And tomorrow... Well, the day this is going up... The night of when this goes up, will be have all the info for Future Gohan Celebration.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see. Also, did you have your phone on vibrate during the podcast? Oh, it's fine.
I'll be honest, I don't know why that happened, and I don't know how to turn that off.
Oh, well, I'll help you later. Anyway, I think global players probably know by now, but don't summon on Future Gohan. It's not worth it. The banner, I mean, it's alright, but Future Gohan is definitely not worth summoning for, considering all of the things that are coming up. Cooler is possibly next, if not the banner after the next banner on Global. And obviously Cooler and his banner are both absolutely fantastic. So that's definitely something for global players to save for. And now that you know everything that's coming for 5th year, obviously 5th year is the big thing to summon for coming up here on global because, well, I mean, look at it. It's insane. And the anniversary units are insane and everything about it insane. Go stupid. Go crazy. So definitely save your stones up for that. I mean, unless I guess like, something is your favorite character or you're just a whale. I mean, that's always an option too, but definitely keep your stones in your pocket, global players. All right, speaking of the anniversary units though, today's topic is we are going to be talking about the anniversary units over the years. And again, like we said in the beginning, stacking them against each other in an epic death battle. No, just kidding. That sounded more like epic rap battles of history than death battle, but anyway, Avon.
Watch ad receive podcast.
And we are back. Did you receive the podcast? Oh, look, you have. I mean, you have now. All right, so let's talk about these anniversary units. Pat your face, 3 a.m. gang. Let's get it. So, we wanted to talk about this topic, obviously, because, well, the 5th year anniversary is happening right now. You know, and the Vegito and Gogeta are kind of like, well, I don't know, the best units in the game, undisputably. Kale and Caulifla are no more. Truth. I don't even care what you say, bro. It ain't true. They're dethroned for Gogeta and Vegito. So I want to take a look at these two specifically and kind of just, you know, talk about how broken they are compared to their metagame now, and sort of do the same thing throughout the anniversaries, right? Seeing if these particular anniversary units every single year during the 5 that we have had for JP and Global, if they also sort of like broke the game for Dokkan, right? Or rather, you know, they were like super OP units for the time. So I suppose let's start off with our boys that are kind of the popular topic, right? Gogeta and Vegito.
Okay.
So obviously, I think the first thing that we can kind of acknowledge is sort of what we said before about them dethroning Kale and Caulifla. The best unit in the game up until now has been LR Kale and Caulifla, kind of undoubtedly. And
arguably between people.
Yeah. They definitely felt like, though, I think most people can agree that they felt like they came out a couple years too early. They were definitely broken, whatever way you look at it, for the time that they came out. And it is awesome to see these two contest that, because obviously a lot of people wanted that to be the case. And of course, it being the Fusion Boys, how could it not be, right? It is. I mean, I guess you could call them Dokkan's Golden Boys, right? So, let's talk about what makes them so OP. Kayvon, step up to the plate, my friend. This is your analysis time. What makes them so broken? So, let's. I'll read the passives. I'll read what they do. And then we can kind of analyze them from there. I thought Google just heard me talking and my phone lit up. Do we want to go over just their blue or both? Probably both, right?
I mean, honestly, like, they do essentially the same thing when they're both base, so it's pretty blah. It's irrelevant considering they transform turn 4.
Okay. Yeah, they literally have the same passive.
Essentially, basically, sum it up, it's 70% attack and defense, 3 key when attacking, medium chance to perform a super attack after attacking, and high chance to dodge in the 3rd slot.
Right, and that that medium chance for a super is guaranteed additional regardless.
Yeah.
So, transformation-wise, right? Let's take a look at their transformations. By the way, we're talking about
doing this the other way around. By the way,
what do you mean?
Like go from year 1 to year 5 instead of reverse.
I mean, we can. Would you like to do that?
I mean, I think. Well, let's just do these first, then we'll compare them to year 1 units, I guess.
Okay. Because I think, like, you know, these guys are sort of the I mean, at least just because of current events. I was gonna say topics. I guess that's still right. They're kind of like the baseline of how they, you know, sort of break the game, I guess, right?
Sure, but I think because what people find are revolutionary is just how easy they transform compared to what was previously probably the best units at the time, Vegito and Gogeta, the previous LRs. And their restriction to transform was 6 turns and below 50% HP.
And these guys are just 4 turns, yeah. And nothing. All right, well, let's go over Gogeta and Vegito then either way, like you said. Do you want me to read their passives?
Go ahead.
Okay, so let me get some water before I begin this Harry Potter novel. Okay. We'll go over everything, I guess. So both of these guys lead the Last Resort category, which is a brand new category introduced to Dokkan for this celebration. Essentially, it's whenever a character has to, whip out their Last Resort or their trump card, as we initially called the category. And then the units also lead Fusion and Patar, respectively, as 150 leaders. I will admit, it is kind of disappointing that I think everybody was sort of disappointed that they leaded Patara and Fusion, especially since it was literally 2 years ago's anniversary. And it would have been cool to see them bump up the leader skill a little bit. I mean, obviously, you don't want to make them too busted, but their 5th year anniversary units, I don't know. They could have made them like 170.
170 for
That's still kind of
essentially the Portara and Fusion team. In one
okay, 160 then.
That would just be weird.
I know, but still. Like
maybe like 170 HP.
155.
No, like something like Blue Evo's leader skill, but
no, definitely.
150 attack and then 170 HP in defense.
Yeah, definitely. Either way, though, Gogeta, super attack, 12 key is the Stardust Fall. Raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes colossal damage. 18 key is the Meteor Explosion, raises defense for 1 turn and causes mega colossal damage. Passive skill, well, that's interesting, actually. I didn't notice that it was attack and defense for 12 and defense for 18 key. Anyway, passive skill, attack and defense plus 77% at the start of the turn. Key plus 5 launches an additional attack plus an additional attack and defense plus 7 with each additional attack performed, or rather with each attack performed, up to 77%. That would have to be 11 attacks, which is not going to happen.
Yes, but remember he gets 2 attacks per turn.
That's true. I mean, wouldn't that have to be like the potential system procking and then the equipment system procking?
No.
Yeah, I don't.
It's just the one. It's just one super, then the additional attack counts towards it.
I don't think you could get 11 attacks though, unless like.
I mean, in a normal Dokkan event, and of course not. But
this is total. I guess you're right. Like over the course of the event, it would be interesting if they introduced like a support unit that like gave potential system buffs. Like additional in dodge rather than crit, right? Because obviously crit is one that units do now, but I don't think we have a unit that does additional in dodge. Anyway, though, and attacks effective against all types. Of course, he being a Gogeta, as the first and second attacker in turn launches an additional attack. Or launches an additional super rather, and high chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack, as the third attacker in the turn. Now, before we talk about active skill, explain the little like quote unquote glitch or oversight at the moment with the passage.
Should we explain that? Because that doesn't really pertain to the card necessarily if it's not intended.
I guess, but I think it's still important to mention either way.
Alright, so basically if you use your active skill when you're in the 3rd slot, it counts as proccing an attack, so you can put them back in the 1st slot and activate their entire passive.
Right. So you're getting
I don't think is intended. Yeah, and you get the additional super.
Yeah. At the time of this recording, they currently can do that, but we're kind of thinking that with an upcoming patch, that will probably be removed. Unless it's intended, but I think that's super busted, right?
Because if it is intended, then Gogeta is more on par or even better than Vegeta.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Active skill, Ultimate Kamehameha. Greatly raises attack temporarily and causes ultimate damage to the enemy. Can be achieved when facing only one enemy when HP is 50% or less, starting from the next attacking turn. When
the enemy's HP is 50% or less, you have to specify that.
Oh, yeah. And then Link skills, Super Saiyan, Fuse Fighter, Warrior Gods, Over in a Flash, Kamehameha, First Battle, and Legendary Power. Categories are Fusion, Realm of Gods, Transformation Boost, Movie Heroes, Kamehameha, and Last Resort. Moving on to Vegito. Super attack is the exact same as Gogeta. Passive skill, attack and defense plus 70%. Start a turn. Key plus 2 launches an additional super attack plus an additional key plus 1 and attack and defense plus 7 with each attack performed up to 77 and 5 key. As a first or second attack on the first turn, launches an additional super attack. High chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack. As a third attacker in a turn. Wait, did I read that wrong? First and second attack on the turn launches an additional super and high chance of evading enemy's attack as a third attacker. Got it. What's actually the difference between them? What am I missing here?
The difference is Gogeta gets his key automatically when attacking. While Vegeta only gets 2 and he has to build up the extra 5.
Mm-hmm. And then he has the active skill.
And Vegito gets an additional super guaranteed after every super, while Gogeta gets only a normal.
Gotcha.
But Gogeta gets type effectiveness to compensate.
Mm-hmm. To all types, right. Yeah, that's what that means. What am I saying? Anyway, active skill greatly raises attack temporarily and causes ultimate damage to the enemy. Can be activated when facing only one enemy and enemy's HP is 50% or less, starting from the next attacking turn once only. Links are Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, Power Bestowed by God, Over in a Flash, Fuse Fighter, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. Categories are ROG, Potara, Future Saga, Transformation Boost, Time Travelers, Kamehameha, and Last Resort. So, let's talk about why these guys are so busted. Okay, Bob? Why are they so busted?
You could probably answer that yourself,
True. But compared to today's metagame, why are they so busted?
If you scroll down to the extra detail section down there, it says here.
Sorry, I'm pulling both up.
So it says here, for one, their 12k multiplier is 160, which for an LR is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is that their additional attack with each attack performed calculates separately for a total of 213% rather than 154. And while they won't get that very often, their full damage, that means they have a lot more output than what it shows on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And it pretty much comes down to how easily they can Ultra Super. Gogeta gets type effectiveness and an additional normal that has, especially if he has dupes or a good equipment, has an extra chance to proc his hidden potential additional. Vegito just gets an automatic super, but he has to crit to do real damage. With the more dupes he has, the easier it is. So they're just all around amazing units with very little to no downsides.
Right. And especially compared to a lot of the recent units that we've had, and especially too, I think a lot of people are comparing these guys to the 300 anniversary, 300 million units, just because they were the last LRs to come out, and these guys compared to them is night and day.
Pretty much,
they're good, but these guys are disgusting.
Yeah.
And as well too, I think a big thing about why, and maybe this is just me thinking this, but I think you'll agree with me. A big thing about why I think these guys are so great too is that they don't have any stupid plot-esque restrictions.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Their active skill or their transformation just being 4 turns is pretty much what sold the card, because after using Vegito a bit, while not bad, I guess we'll go over their base. Well, let's go back to their base form real quick.
Mm-hmm.
They are on par with free-to-play LRs.
The base form ones?
Yeah. Vegito with max key, and I think with Turles support, got 1.7 mil.
Mm-hmm.
That is pitiful damage for an anniversary LR.
Yeah, LR Goku and Arale would like a word.
Yeah, but the thing is with how easily they get to blue, else that's not factoring in their additional attack chance. But anyways, once they get to blue, they are a complete other beast entirely.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's so easy to get there, it's overlooked how middling they could be when they're in base form.
Right. And they're not bad in base form. They're just not like
Yeah.
super disgusting, especially compared to their blue.
If in base form, I definitely say maybe not Vegeta, but definitely Super Saiyan 4 Goku leagues better than them both in base form.
Mm-hmm. In terms of like anniversary units, anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they're really good. Is kind of the point. And Dokkan also kind of went down that road for a while of like this. I'm personally not a fan of it. Kayvon, I think you can probably agree. But I just think that the whole like mechanic of all of this like story, quote unquote, I guess, story based restriction for these units, right? I mean, in the way of like, you know, how they're trying to make the transformation based on the story of what happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how they're trying to sort of not justify it, but that's what they're like basing it off of, right?
Yeah.
I just think it was a little bit silly because like I understand that they're trying to make it reference the source material, but you have to remember too, you have to compensate for the fact that this is a game and the game's mechanics only allow that to a certain extent in some cases, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I do agree. Like, I know you're specifically referencing Go On and Sell there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like they haven't done that with many other units, restricting them to, like, source material, not even with their transformation, but, like, with sort of stuff they do.
Mm-hmm. That's
Like, for
true.
example, with Int Black, just example, how he works is just, like, basically his base form passive kind of reflects the whole like this pain only makes me stronger type thing, where he needs to get hit and have a drawn out battle to get more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And in a game where you can end a Dokkan event in like 4 to 5 turns, he's pretty not good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is due to them trying to be more cautious to the source material, but doing it in the wrong way.
Right. I got you. What do you think is a good example of a right way for that? And then we'll kind of move on to the next unit.
All right, honestly, like, I would say, if anything, Android 13 is a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's what, turn 5 or so, maybe? With 2 Android category allies, which is easy.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Piccolo, but he's a bit different considering his lack of categories and needing Nail to really do good.
Right.
Coolers is mixed because it makes sense him transforming against pure or hybrid Saiyan enemies, but then without that, he's taking 6 turns, which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
What other transformations are there? I can't think of any more off the top of my head.
That's fine though. You answer the question. It's all good. But yeah, no, I agree with you. So I think kind of taking all that into consideration, you can kind of understand how they're just super good, right? And especially everything that's kind of come out now, right? And it's interesting too because we don't really think about it this way, but I suppose the anniversary kind of marks the beginning of the calendar year for Dokkan, right? Obviously, it's a little bit weird with Global because it's not in January, but it sort of marks the beginning of the year for Dokkan, right? And then everything after that is within the 5th year of Dokkan. So these LRs, or rather, I guess LRs nowadays, but these cards, right, that are the anniversary units, sort of set the standard, I guess, for the year, right? In a different kind of way, I guess. But anyway,
Yes and no, because remember, the Super Saiyan 4s came out, and then Kid Goku came out.
True.
Not that Kid Goku's bad, but he's definitely not a Super Saiyan 4.
Right. I mean, well, yeah, he's a kid. I'm sorry. Anyway. Let's take a look at Gogeta and Janemba. So again, we are going to be looking at Gogeta and Janemba,
Non-easy aid.
right, because we're comparing them to their original era, right? And we can talk about how well these units all kind of hold
See,
up
I
today.
think this is your territory.
Why so?
Because I was not around during this time.
Fair, fair,
So I would not know how good or bad these units were back in their day.
fair. So let's talk about them, right? And then again, we'll talk about how these guys kind of fare nowadays. Funny enough, and then I'll talk about it when we get there. I'm not going to get off track. Let's start off with the first two units. So we have Gogeta and Janemba, right? Gogeta and Janemba, well, marked some super game-breaking stuff, actually, for Dokkan at the time. At the time of Dokkan, right, it was kind of, it's sort of ironic considering the path that Dokkan has taken now, but getting a super was kind of a rare thing to happen. You didn't traditionally get super attacks, right? And leader skills were a lot more niche, right? Of course, this was before the era of the 70% leaders. So there was lots of goofy kind of leader skills and leader skills that sometimes gave some key or sometimes gave some attack or what have you, right? But Gogeta especially changed all of that, right? The leader skill, all types key +3, attack +3000, was the best in the game at the time. Because not only could you just run every single unit under his category, right? His leader skill. Again, I mean, sometimes, they're not going to link if they're not similar units, but you can. And then attack +3000 was really, really good for the time. And it didn't even necessarily matter that the rest of it, kind of wasn't there, right? And then, of course, his passive skill at the time was also really, really good. The +7000, and then, of course, the introduction to the Gogeta kind of passive skill, effective against all types, right? So, at the time, this guy was super, super good from the leader skill to his passive, everything. And, of course, the importance, right? A lot of, I think the time it's kind of overlooked with the leader skill being introduced with the consistent 3 key is that now super attacks are a lot easier to get off, right? Because obviously now you have the 3 key and technically 6 because you assume you're running dual Gogeta. So he was really, really good for the time. He was like the unit to have. Like if you didn't have him, your account trash. But he was really, really good. And he was definitely a big game changer for the game. Not to mention how good he was as a unit, right? Janemba, unfortunately, I'm not as kind of knowledgeable, I suppose, on it. But nonetheless, still very good, especially for the time. Obviously,
I mean, just looking at it from what I understand, not to cut you off,
yeah.
he just seems like, sure, he wouldn't do as much damage as Gogeta at all. With that link set, and I assume like Phil and link set stayed consistent probably since year one. I mean, the new STR Janemba has literally the exact same link set, and he's like, what? Just like a year or two older than him? But like, you have the guard against all attacks and defense +5000. Way back when, I think that was like one of the best defensive units in the game, probably.
Yes, because Janemba might have even been the very first unit to do that. Don't quote me on that, but regardless, it was most certainly a newer mechanic. So Janemba was definitely groundbreaking in that way, and you're right. Not even taking that 5,000 additional defense into consideration, Janemba was definitely a force to be reckoned with in the defense department. And not to mention too, his super attack, right, did supreme damage.
I forgot he had Supreme before.
Right. And greatly lowered defense too. which
All right,
also
we should
helped
talk
him.
about that too. Gogeta having immense.
Yeah,
One of the immense was not that common back
right.
then.
I think maybe he was the first one as well. Don't quote me on that, though. Either way, though, definitely game-changing units at the time. 100%, I think that they are, if we're like, I don't know, if we're rating the units at like how impactful they are to the game at the time, I might even put these guys at number 1 or number 2, simply because they were crazy for the time of Dokkan, like unheard of. And these two definitely helped, not only just the character picks, right? Being, Gogeta and Janemba, two of the most popular Dragon Ball characters, heroes and villains. Janemba obviously a lot less than Gogeta, but still, these guys definitely helped shape what Dokkan would be. So, moving on to year 2, right, was the introduction of the Super Saiyan 4s. Now,
and the start of a new meta.
right, because obviously following Gogeta and Janemba, then came the 70% leaders, which was the standard for a long time, right? Until we started getting stuff like Vegito and Rose and stuff like that, which were also super big units for their time. But then we got Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. Now, obviously, these guys are pretty revolutionary simply because of their leader skills, right? They were the first two units to introduce the 120 leader skill meta for the, hero or villain variant, and then their type with key +3. Of course, AGL and STR heroes, respectively. And they began that trend, which was the meta until, obviously, the leader skill kind of ran out of options to pick, right? Because they had done everything by that point. Goku, right? Super attack causes immense damage, defense +30 for 6 turns. Passive skill, attack +150%. Medium chance of evading enemy super attack and countering with tremendous power. And then, of course, this link set Super Saiyan, Saiyan Roar, prepared for battle, shocking speed, Kamehameha, GT, and fierce battle. Categories are Pure Saiyans, Goku's family, and Kamehameha, and then Vegeta.
Those didn't exist yet, and we don't talk about this.
What didn't exist yet?
Categories.
Right. Technically, at the time, they didn't exist. You're right.
Yeah.
This is a little bit weird. You're right, too, because it's like giving a retrospective, but also kind of looking at now. But we'll talk about how they stack up to today's.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Obviously, Gogeta and Janemba, they Easy 8, they're godlike.
Right. Well, we'll get to that, though.
Yeah.
So anyway, Vegeta, right, basically does the same thing, causes immense damage to the enemy, but he greatly lowers the defense of the enemy. And his passive skill is attack and defense +120, medium chance of evading enemy super attack and countering with tremendous power. Link, Super Saiyan, Saiyan War, prepared for battle. Shocking speed, Saiyan Pride, GT, and Fierce Battle. Categories are Shadow Dragon, Saga, Pure Saiyans, Vegeta's family, and Worthy Rivals. I'm out of water. So, these guys were also pretty revolutionary for their time.
Yeah.
Of course, the leader skill being one. And not only that, of course, the counter super attack mechanic, right, was super, super crazy. Of course, Vegito had introduced the counter mechanic, right? Super Vegito AGL had introduced the normal counter mechanic. But these guys were the first introduction of a super attack counter, right? Which was super crazy to think about because obviously, normal attacks happen a lot of the time in Dokkan events, but super attacks, only happen maybe once per turn, if that. So these guys were super crazy for that. Of course, their passives are really good for their time as well, and whatnot, right? So they were also very good for their time, and of course they were, in terms of character selection, right, kind of a big deal because no super big GT characters. I mean, I guess when you think of GT overall, right, you're sort of immediately drawn to Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta as like, prime time like, examples of characters from that era. I mean, Super 17 had been released by that point, but definitely the Super Saiyan 4s are the, kind of go-to characters you think of when you're thinking of GT, right? So also another fantastic choice of character for the anniversary.
Yeah.
And great cards overall, especially at the time. They're really, really busted. So, moving on. We also have now the third year anniversary.
Probably the most revolutionary anniversary cards.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Simply
So,
because of the fact they basically single-handedly changed the game by being not only an LR but a Dokkan Fest exclusive.
exactly. Which up until now was completely unheard of. And of course, units up until these guys were the first dual character cards, yes?
I don't think so.
No, I thought they were.
No, I don't think so.
Either way, though. Can you go over what these guys do real quick? I'm going to get water.
Sure. So essentially, they were the Gogeta. They'll Goku and Vegeta Angel that became Gogeta. Were fusions 3 key, 170% HP and attack, 130% defense, or Fizz types 3 key, 90% to all stats. Super attack was Kamehameha and Big Bang attack, causes colossal damage to the enemy, and 18 key was Kamehameha and Final Flash. Oh, excuse me. And that raised attack for 1 turn and causes make colossal damage to the enemy. And their passive was pretty simple. Attack and defense 120% at the start of turn, 3 key in addition per Rainbow Sphere obtained, or is that 2 key? Either way, they got key from Rainbow Sphere obtained and they fuse when conditions are met. And this is what we were mentioning before. To fuse, you need to be below 50%, starting from the 6th turn at the start of battle. Their links were Kamehameha, Golden Warrior, Super Saiyan Experience Fighter, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. And their categories were Fusions, Joined Forces, Movie Heroes, Pure Saiyans, Kamehameha, Otherworld Warriors, and Last Resort.
Mm-hmm. And then Vegito. Let me click on it for you.
Yeah. Essentially, he is the Portara version and the int counterpart to Gogeta, so everything's the same there. And even down to their super attack, Kamehameha, Big Bang attack, and the final strategy. And even the passive is they're the same.
They're the same.
120, 2 key per rainbow, form of fusion when conditions are met, same condition. Only difference here is, I think, the same lineage. I don't know. Either way, link skills are Kamehameha, Super Saiyan. The same lineage, experienced fighters prepared for battle, fierce battle, legendary power. And they are on Portara, Majin Buu Saga, Joined Forces, Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, and Last Resort. And then
transformations.
And then this is what made them really probably the most busted cards of their era. Because back then you could definitely fuse decently easy. Nowadays it's practically impossible because events got way too long.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, their super attacks became the Big Bang Kamehameha, colossal damage to the enemy, and the Soul Punisher for Gogeta, make colossal damage to the enemy and lower attack and defense. And their passive skill, fully recovered HP once, attacks effective against all types, attack and defense 150% at the start of turn, 3 key per Rainbow Sphere obtained. And Gogeta's links were Kamehameha, Golden Warrior, Super Saiyan, Fused Fighter, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. And the categories were Joined Forces, Fusion, Movie Heroes, Super Saiyan, Kamehameha. Same categories, I forgot they were changed.
Mm-hmm.
And Vegito, who's probably more busted of the two, got colossal damage on his 12 key with Big Bang attack, and the final Kamehameha, make a colossal damage, raises out his attack by 30% for 1 turn. And Vegeta was pretty simple, fully recovers HP, counter with tremendous power upon receiving normal attacks, on top of 150 attack and defense, 3 key in addition per Rainbow Sphere obtained. And Link skills were Kamehameha, Super Saiyan, Power Pursuit by God, Fused Fighter, Prepare for Battle, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power.
And categories remain the same, of course.
Yeah.
So, what made these guys so busted? Well, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but I think one big component of this, especially, is the rainbow key mechanic that they both have.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Some units, I think, before them had the mechanic, but 100% not to the extent that they did, right?
Definitely not, no. Yeah.
They get 3 key for every rainbow sphere obtained, right?
Yes.
Which is insane, especially for an LR. And keep in mind, even when they're not fused, they still get 2 key, right? So these guys, especially being LRs, are going to be able to get their 18 key very, very consistently,
Yep.
making them super, super good. And not to mention, of course, when they both transform, right, they recover HP completely, which was also kind of an unheard of thing. Like Whis sort of did that, but obviously he's a little bit different. It was when he got down to a certain HP threshold. But no unit really.
No, you.
No you. That's what Vegito does. No unit really did that where once they transformed, they got all their HP back, right? So these two were super good because of that. And then obviously, of course, their passive skills giving them as much attack and defense as they did. Funny enough, they are really simple, but still really, really good. And then, of course, Vegito keeps with the theme of countering, and Gogeta keeps with the theme of all attacks. And they both just got attack and defense plus 150. So, kind of funny, just super simple, but just because of all these simple elements combined together, they end up being really, really good. Fantastic units. And, we're sort of talking more so about the fusion variant of them, but even so, their regular versions are 100%.
Yeah, nothing to be slapped on.
Yeah, not bad, right? So, I think that these guys, like Kayvon said, were super impactful to the game. Not only did their transformation mechanics, with the fact that, they just transformed when they were HP 50% or below from the 6th turn. Again, at the time, it was a little bit difficult to get, but it was just difficult enough that it was, still doable, where you could still kind of get it done.
Nowadays, honestly, I feel like these guys have aged even better than they were in the past because we have content that is hard enough to get them to transform.
Right, because at the time, right, it was sort of like you couldn't really get them to transform. Did I just say the opposite of what I meant? I think I did. I meant that what I just said is more relevant today, but at the time, the content was like not difficult enough to be able to get them to transform. So these guys were definitely in league of their own. Not to mention, too, the 170% leader skill, right?
Yeah.
Is crazy, especially for the Potara and the Fusion category, both being 2 of the best categories in the game. Crazy, crazy stuff here. So overall, amazing units. And of course, Vegito and Gogeta being great picks for anniversary units. Of course, I mean, the
and
first.
Keep going, probably.
Yeah, I know, right? Crazy. I do kind of wonder if they will consistently do Gogeta and Vegito, because I don't know, I can't imagine them doing Super Saiyan 4s again. Like,
Fair enough.
maybe, but at the same time, like, the Super Saiyan 4s are hype and exciting, but I don't think they're hype and exciting enough to warrant 3 anniversaries about them, right? Like, they were good picks for their 120 leads. And then they were also, good picks because they're independent LRs, which we will get to. But I don't think that they'll probably continue forward. But Vegito and Gogeta will obviously always get cards because they have a couple of different variants of forms. And, of course, people love the fusions. So overall, fantastic cards for the third year anniversary.
Now definitely the most revolutionary units of the 4th year anniversary.
The Super Saiyan 4, LR, Goku, and Vegeta. These guys are crazy.
They changed the game.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, these guys do not transform, which makes sense because they're just purely Super Saiyan 4.
But they introduced a new mechanic,
Right.
the active skill.
The active skill, right. Which is super big in Dokkan today and sort of set the standard for modern day. It almost feels like, I mean, I don't want to say they do kind of, but it does seem consistently like as a theme that with these units that they do sort of set at least one trend for their year. Like, for example, Gogeta kind of set the trend of, leader skills giving units more ki, so supers are more accessible. The Super Saiyan 4s, of course, introducing the 120 units. The fusions, of course, bringing more popularity to just general fusion cards. And, of course, categories, just kind of continuing that trend. And then, of course, with these guys, active skills.
That and these guys brought along with them the most. But let's go over them. Like, let's bullet point them together. So here Goku leads Goku's family 3 ki, while Vegeta leads Goku's family 3 ki, 170 attack and HP, 130 defense, while Vegeta leads Vegeta's family 130 HP and 170 attack and defense. But along with that, they type switch them from their second anniversary counterparts. And now Goku's HL and Vegeta's STR. And they also have a sub-lead of there's their own types, their super class for their own types, 120 percentile stats, and 3 ki. That was even now, their categories are the broadest categories in the game. And probably one of the most busted categories in the game.
Because, you gotta think, right? The anime is about Goku and Vegeta. So,
yeah.
Of course, right, every single Goku card being on a category and every single Vegeta category being on a category, every single Vegeta card being on a category, not to mention all of Goku's family being on the category with him and all of Vegeta's family being on the category with him, is definitely not a category to be trifled with.
Plus, you also have the 120 leader skill boost, which a lot of people didn't think this would happen, brought relevancy to the Super Saiyan 4s again, even though these guys were meant to replace them.
Right.
Because Vegeta, linked with Goku, is still one of the most discussed irritations in the game, even though he only gets a 120 boost. Even more so with Vegeta and the Super Saiyan 4 STR Goku. But yeah, so going to super attack mechanics, Goku massively raises his defense on his 12 ki, which is a 100% boost, so he times his defense by 2 just by supering. And then he massively raises his attack and defense for 1 turn and causes Mega Colossal. While Vegeta is the opposite, I believe. If you'll
go to yeah, sorry.
Yeah. You're done. Yeah, Vegeta raises his attack for 1 turn on his 12 ki, and then raises both on his 18 ki. Basically, you'll notice the trend that these guys are the reverse of each other. So Goku gets 80% attack and defense, which is the lowest boost of the modern anniversary units, I guess, after the Dokkan Fest LR started. They are definitely the lowest boost, with only 80%. Along with defense plus 20% at the start of each turn, up to 80. And this was a game changer, plus an additional 2 ki per rainbow, or AGL key sphere. So rainbows give 3 ki. AGL gives 4. This was ridiculous. These guys always ultra super. And then they also kept
what do
their
you mean
medium.
They both give 2?
What do you mean?
You said one gave 3 and one gave 4.
Yeah, because you get 2 from AGL and then you get another 2 from the passive.
Oh, I see.
So AGL gives 4 ki when you collect 1, and rainbows give 3. And then they kept the medium chance of evading enemy super attacks. And with Vegeta, he's a bit different. he gets his defense at 80% and then builds up his attack. And then he has the same thing, but instead of AGL, he has STR. And then the active skills, which are the requirements are the same for both, but it's obviously different attacks. The requirements were at the words. What they did was massively raise attack temporarily and cause ultimate damage to the enemy, and can be activated from the 4th turn from the start of battle, once only. This was essentially a free super attack, for free of cost, with a even higher damage multiplier. And the best part, probably the best part of the cards were the links. Super Saiyan, Saiyan Roar, Prepared for Battle, Kamehameha, GT, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power, with Vegeta trading in Kamehameha for Saiyan Pride. Saiyan Roar on LRs is absolutely ridiculous. That is why they gave them such low attack. Because 80% plus a total of 50% from their link skills is essentially a total of 130% attack, realistically. Because they're all multiplied together. It's all how that works.
Right.
And so if they gave these guys anything more than 80%, they'd be probably even more busted than they already are. But you have anything?
No, yeah, I'm processing what you're saying. It is insane. And yeah, because, yeah, and I mean, especially with the fact that the Super Saiyan 4s have the LRs, rather, have the 120 leader skill, and then that allows their, Goku and Vegeta kind of counterpart from the 2nd year anniversary to be linked with them, right? They'll be getting Saiyan Roar every single time.
Yeah, pretty much.
So they'll be getting that full boost all the time, and really, really good. And obviously, especially when active skills.
Not to mention, AGL Super Saiyan 4 Goku also had full power Goku. The full power Super Saiyan 4.
And of course, again, active skills breaking the game, literally just a ridiculous bonus super. I mean, think about it. These guys are LRs. They already get, the 18 key super that's already more powerful than their normal super. And then they just get another one for free. No biggie.
And to this day, these are still the easiest active skill supers to pull off. Even compared to the 5th year anniversary LRs. These guys still take the cake.
Right. And they are fantastic. And again, as well, in terms of character choice, great. Again, just kind of taking after their 2nd year counterparts, but, obviously updating them, giving them active skills, giving GT a little bit of love, which is always appreciated. And not just that, still letting the old ones be relevant and giving these guys super cool cards. So, right, overall...
go ahead.
Wait, what were you going to say?
I was going to say the last thing we should probably go over is see how they aged, if anything.
Exactly. That's what I was just getting into.
1st to 5th year.
So, of course, right, all these cards exist in the modern day. Now, let's kind of talk about how all of them fare today, right, in the 5th year anniversary of Dokkan. I mean, I suppose that, we don't really need to give anything on Vegeta and Gogeta since they just came out and they're disgusting.
Yeah, they're okay.
But Gogeta and Janemba, of course, now have EZAs, which, of course, wasn't around at the time. But Gogeta is...
definitely...
Yeah.
Sorry. I was going to say, they did not age well at all. But once the EZAs came around, they became... Again, some of the best units in the game once again.
Because you have to remember. You have to remember, right? With the, a lot of the older cards, right? That was the whole point of EZAs being introduced, to give relevancy to some of the older cards in the game. Because they simply just couldn't be updated. And I mean, I guess they could have just implemented, patches to update their leader skills. But instead, they made a whole new mechanic out of it, which I think is really cool. And definitely a unique way to do it. But a lot of the older units, I I don't think it's really fair to even compare their, like old passives and stuff to new because, again, 5 years is a lot of age on a game that's been, updating consistently at that time. But with the EZAs, right, they are fantastic. Gogeta, his leader skill is still really good. All types key +3 and everything 77. Kind of giving reference and homage to his original leader skill. Of course, not really used now because there's other better rainbow units, or rainbow leaders rather. But Super Attack does extreme, or rather immense. Why did I say extreme? Causes immense damage to the enemy and lowers attack and defense. Of course, he is effective against all types with all of his attacks. And he gets attack and defense +77 and attack +7 per rainbow key sphere obtained on his passive, which is super, super good.
And this guy even dethroned his int counterpart.
Yeah, which is saying something.
Yeah. And he even stole his lowest attack and defense gimmick, too. So, once this guy came around, there was no reason to run the int 120 lead at all. Heck, he needs easier now.
Yeah, which we'll kind of get to that. But Janemba now, right, kind of references his original leader skill, still leading mono int overall. And he's 3 key and then 90% to everything. Super attack causes immense damage and greatly lowers defense. And then his passive skill, attack and defense +70%. Guard, activate against all attacks. Medium chance of evading enemy's attack, including super, for 1 turn. And plus an additional attack +40% for 4 turns when guard is activated, which is literally every turn. So
this guy went from just a tank to a tank? Like, the ultimate
on
tank.
crack.
One of the best damaging units in the game. Like, Janemba, arguably, I'd say there's good arguments. Arguably better than Gogeta's EZA. Granted, he came out earlier than Gogeta. I just realized that. Interesting. But yeah, these guys are once they were modernized, essentially, they were ridiculous.
Right. They're crazy.
And they took parts of their newer versions and put it back into these guys, and they're
older versions.
Disgusting. Well, no, because remember, Janemba got his.
Oh, you mean they're? I see, taking it from the STR and the int.
Taking it from the updated versions.
I got you. So yeah, funny enough, the Super Saiyan 4s from the 2nd year anniversary are probably who I would put at the bottom of the barrel. In terms of the anniversary units. I think that if we're making a tier list here, right, of all of these anniversary units and we're sort of lumping them together, right, for every anniversary, I would say that they're at the bottom. And I only say that because, well, I mean, looking at them all, the rest of them, right, all of them are crazy powerful. And it's not that the Super Saiyan 4s of the 2nd year anniversary aren't powerful, but they definitely don't hold a candle to Gogeta and Janemba and Gogeta and Vegito and their new Super Saiyan 4 forms, right? And of course the new guys. So
that is fair.
But I do think right, it's sort of unfair to compare them as well. In a way. Because, we've gotten to the point in the game where the 120s kind of almost need their own EZAs, right? Some of them maybe not, but some of them maybe, right? I mean, literally the other versions of Gogeta and Janemba are kind of irrelevant now. But it almost feels like that at this point in their life, they're literally just link buddies for the LRs, which isn't terrible, and they can still do decent damage, but it's nothing compared to the rest of these guys, especially when you're taking active skills into consideration for the newer ones, and of course, Vegito and Gogeta's counters and all types effective, respectively.
I mean, fair enough, but I will say I do feel you're underrating the fact a lot that the LR Super Saiyan 4s buffed these guys more than they hurt them. And the fact that train of thought, oh no, it's gone.
Well, where
Hold
would
on.
you? Well, would you guys put these over any of the other anniversary units though?
I don't know. I probably would agree, but like, just because they're at the bottom doesn't mean they're still not
Right. Oh no, one
some of the
hundred percent.
best cards. Well,
It's
like
like
they're not cards you wouldn't want to pull. Essentially, like you
right.
still all have them.
It's like saying, oh, they're the worst LR. Well, it doesn't make them
Mhm.
bad. It just means that
Yeah.
they're, the worst of the LRs.
And plus, like if we're looking at the way you were saying that all they are is really link buddies for the LR Super Saiyan 4s, is that not the same fate for Tech Vegito Blue and AGL Blue Gogeta?
I mean,
Just
but
become
they can
link
still
buddies
deal a
for
lot
the
more
LR.
damage than the other two, can't they?
Well, you also got to keep in mind they're on 170 leads. These guys are on 120s, and still outputting 1.8 and 1.5 mil respectively at Rainbow.
That's true. Maybe I am underrating them a little bit.
Yeah.
But I still think that either way, they're probably like, okay, if you had to make a tier list of all of them, what's the tier list? Go
I
from like
mean,
top down.
I
So,
was. I mean, because it depends. The problem with Super Saiyan 4s is that their main use, while it is a link buddy for the LRs, it also means you're only operating on a 120 lead most of the time. And I would say, if we're talking about a 120 lead situation, I'd say they still have damage on par with Janemba and Gogeta. So honestly, I would put them all on the same plane, and then it just goes from third, fourth, and fifth year being like 3, 2, and 1 respectively.
3, 2, and 1. Okay. What would you say then? I mean, maybe this is not as fair of a comparison, or maybe they're all just equal for this. What about like during their era that they were released?
Ooh, during their era. That honestly, that's hard considering they are all the best cards of their era. So like,
What about like most impactful, I guess?
that's also another hard one because Gogeta. Well, Janemba really didn't do anything
Well,
impactful as leader skill, at
he
least.
became true, but defense wise,
Yeah, he was still one of
disgusting.
the best units. Yeah, for defense. The Super Saiyan 4s introduced a new meta with the 120s. Gogeta and Vegeta were the first Dokkan Fest LRs. The LR Super Saiyan 4s were the first active seals, and the Vegeta Blue and Gogeta are just disgusting units. I would say, honestly, the least impactful probably would be the Super Saiyan 4. Not Super Saiyan 4s, the Vegito and Gogeta. Not that
The
they're
blues.
bad by any
I would agree. Yeah.
yeah, because while there's definitely amazing units, the problem is 50th anniversary's gimmick is equipment, and that isn't a unit specific thing.
Right.
Like third year LRs introduced transformation mechanic, fourth year introduced active skills, fifth year introduced equipment, and it has nothing to do with Vegeta and Gogeta. So it kind of sucks for them, but I mean they're still amazing units either way. So who are they to complain?
Right. I definitely agree. I would personally, I would probably put them at the bottom as well. I would probably put that's hard. I almost want to put Janemba and Gogeta at the top. Maybe it's a little bit of nostalgia, but
Fair enough.
Gogeta almost single-handedly changed Dokkan forever.
Fair.
And I do think that I would probably under them I would put the third year ones just
Yeah,
because
agreed.
with Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, it was really just their leader skill. I mean, I guess they did do countering super attacks. But
I mean, I would say it's more so their active skill and leader skill than anything else.
no, I'm talking the second year ones.
Oh, right. My bad.
Yeah. I would probably put third year then second year then fourth year because like the active skills were impactful, but their own active skills weren't really that crazy, I guess. I mean, they were, but like compared to now, I guess not, I don't know. It's very hard to say because they all did different things for their time. But I think we can definitely say that the blues, funny enough, are probably the least impactful in terms of like just what they do raw.
Yeah.
But either
Like, I
way,
mean, very
very good units.
very
Yeah.
split leader skill for one. If we're talking about like how impactful they are, their leader skill is split. Their active skill, while good, is very hard to get most of the time because they end stuff too quickly. Even their building up is hard to get to a lot of the time because they just do stuff too good.
Right.
Suffering from success.
Good meme. Good meme.
Regardless.
Yeah, I think that about covers everything for these guys. This was definitely an interesting retrospective on all of the anniversary units. I very much enjoyed this. This was good. It will be interesting to see where the units go from here. I do think too, real quick before we end, I do think you kind of made a good point with the whole thing on the particular units, right? All kind of bringing something to the table for the anniversary that influence the units for the rest of Dokkan, like in their units. I think it's going to be very interesting to see if they go back to that for the 6-year anniversary, or if they simply continue on the same trend of 5th year, right, where they introduce new game mechanics rather than like new card mechanics, right? Because
time will tell on that, right?
Yeah. Because, I mean, obviously, every other card sort of introduced new mechanics. Gogeta and Janemba are a little bit, kind of anomalies-ish in that. But these guys, in terms of cards, don't really have anything, like, new, I guess. The blues, anyway. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from here. Maybe we'll do some kind of at 0.5 type of episode on this, where when 6 year comes out, we will have a discussion comparing the 6-year anniversary units to these guys. But for now, definitely let us know in the comments section below your thoughts on everything we discussed today. Let us know what you think the most impactful anniversary units are. Let us know who you think is still the head honchos in today's meta, so on and so forth. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely good luck, by the way. I know most people have summoned already, but good luck trying to pull the boys, because they are good. Anyway, from all of us here at the Extreme Z Podcast, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Later, guys.